since we can't say the blood is running and we stained our suits. The mission is one we can't lose. We haven't lost yet. We gotta stand up. Now's the time to choose. The world is falling and we gotta make a stand. Hold the line and take all that we can. When the power's on, we will stand tall. When we work as one, the villains will fall. So here we are, the mightiest team. The Power Rangers will see victory. When the power is on, we stand up tall. When we work as one, the villains will fall. So here we are, the mightiest team. The Power Rangers will see victory. Green with evil, or under a spell, we make it right. We'll fix this hell. Even if our powers are lost, even if they start to rise, we'll keep on fighting. Everything will be alright. It's morphin' time, time to save the day. Shifting the turbo in our own way. Let's rock it to the galaxy. Go galactic to become free. Now it's light speed to the rescue. And it's time for us, my dude. Wild access is on the rise. And everybody says it's morphin' time. When the power is on, we stand up tall. When we work as one, the villains will fall. So here we are, the mightiest team. The Power Rangers will see victory. When the power's on, we stand up tall. When we work as one, the villains will fall. So here we are, the mightiest team. The Power Rangers will see victory. It's morphin' time, time to save the day. Shifting the turbo, we'll see victory. Let's rock it to the galaxy. Go galactic, we'll see victory. Now it's light speed to the rescue. Calling down for us and my dude. Wild access. Gotta make sure that I'm not gonna be late, because another day of detention won't be great. Gotta make sure I'm at the gym by 3 p.m. Then after that, hanging out with my friends. So much going on inside of my mind. Well, the voice keeps saying, Jason, now is your time. But I can't lose focus cause they all depend on me. So strong and silent, so I'm gonna be. That's who I wanna be. But the voice inside said, this is who I'm meant to be. I can't let go. I need to know what he told me. Is this my destiny? It's a morphin' time. Time to let the Rex rage out of me. He won't be the same, that's for sure. I can't let this go. Gotta let the beast free to roar. I gotta protect my friends, even if I meet my end. This is what I was chosen for. Being a ranger's giving me so much more. I can't let go. I need to know what he told me. Is this my destiny? It's morphin' time. Time to let the Rex rage out of me. ranger, always a ranger. I can't let go. I need to know what he told me. Is this my destiny? It's morphine time. Time to let the Rex rage out of me. I've been locked away, trying to find some space, trying to feel some grace, but the world keeps beating me, pounding me in my face. That's a rat race, gotta win the first place. All we wanna do is taste our way to victory. Maybe that's the key, cause I left my own shining, now it's falling deep into calamity. The me are scaring me, and if I fall too hard, it's at the end of me, or is insanity? Breaking these walls with intensity, it's a mystery. It's like Jesus didn't tap, so I guess I'll face it. One day at a time, one step out of line, I better embrace it. It keeps getting darker the longer I wait. Fighting these demons may just be my fate. I'm closing up shop cause it's getting late. It's morphin' time, these words are my saving. It keeps getting darker the longer I wait. Fighting these demons may just be my fate. I'm closing up shop cause it's getting late. It's morphin' time, these words are my saving grace. These words are my saving grace. These words are my saving grace. White Ranger, Tiger power. White Ranger, Tiger power. White Ranger, Tiger power. Okay. Hopefully I can be heard. Yeah. We're here. I hope we're here. Possibly. Maybe. I don't know. We will wait and see what's happening. I know we at least have one person in here. She will probably be asking all the questions unless somebody else comes in. That's fine. Let's see what we got real quick, and then we'll jump into all of this. I just want some sort of like background music while we talk. That'll work. Hopefully you guys can hear that. Man, oh man. All right. So, for those of you who will probably watch this later on, or you come in late, whatever, we just premiered Legacy. We premiered Jason's Legacy, which is the prologue to Legacy. And if you know what Legacy is, well, Legacy started out as a fan film back in 2017. Well, 2016 is when we filmed it, but 2017 is when we released it. All about, that might be too loud. I don't know. Is that too loud? I already got a question. I'll answer that here in a second. But it's a short film that we did back in 2017. Basically a what if story if the events of Forever Red went the way they had talked, which was killing Jason or Leo off, and we went this route of Leo. So if Jason died on the moon in Forever Red, how would that affect anything he had, back on Earth? And so I sat down and I wrote the story about his son and his daughter, who he left behind with Zach, and the daughter Jen learned to go with it, but then Thomas, his son,
resented him. He didn't understand. So that's kind of where the story was, and it was all about Thomas kind of coming of age, learning his father was a Power Ranger, didn't abandon him. He ended up dying, saving the world, and Thomas had let himself go due to his hatred of the world, and now he has to take on this legacy. And so the audio drama is a follow-up, a soft reboot follow-up, now a year later from that. And what is Thomas going to, like, what has Thomas done? Where has he been? Does the power work? This and that. So there's a lot of things there, and there's been multiple iterations of the story and what was going to be. We had a lot set up. We had a bunch of new characters. We had a bunch of new Rangers. We had a new villain. We had 3 new villains, and it was this dark night kind of world. And at the time, it seemed like a good idea, but we didn't have the finances to pull it off, so we canceled the project. I wanted to come back to Legacy multiple times, but unfortunately, every single time something happened. COVID was happening, work happened, financial things happened, all these things happened, so it just never felt like it was going to happen. And I was like, I just was like, okay, I'm going to write this, but I'm going to start from the thing we don't see. And that is what happened on the moon that day in this version of the story. Okay, I'll go ahead and read these questions that are coming in. So how long are the episodes going to be as a listener of the show? I'm assuming you mean how long is each episode going to be, because the prologue is only about 5 or so minutes. But that only really gets the nitty gritty to the point of what happens. The episodes are going to vary from probably about 20 to 25 minutes. They could go longer depending on the content of the episode, but so far what is done, we're looking at about 20 to 25 minutes, 30 at the most. And probably by the time we get to the finale, they're going to be longer. But yeah, so if that's your question, it's a 10 episode run as of right now, to tell this in one story. And unlike, I'm not trying to call it some other, Power Ranger fan series, but we're not trying to add in so much to it to appease the fans. We're trying to tell a story. We're trying to get this story across to, for one, bring honor up to a legend that we lost, JDF, because this is a tribute to him as well. And we want to honor, the character that I originally started the story for, and that was the Red Ranger, Jason Lee Scott. We'll just see where it goes. I don't want to throw too much in there. We have an idea for a 10 episode run, plus I think 3 small little short stories to go with it in the world, but that's about it. Is the continuity still mostly the same, and do I need to watch the film beforehand before I listen to the audio drama? You don't have to. You might get confused. I mean, if you do, that's okay. That kind of gives you a little setup of where Thomas was. We do answer those questions in the audio drama, so you don't get too lost or behind, because the short film ends on a different note. The short film changes some things up. I don't want to give anything away. I will say the short film ends on the note that Thomas is going to go find somebody at Lightspeed Rescue to train him, and that was set up to be Joel. But of course, that version of the story never happened. So this is completely different, brand new take. So if you want to, you're more than welcome to. If you don't want to, well, I don't like that. That didn't feel good. But you're more than welcome to. If you don't want to, you don't have to. I do not recommend going to watch it. I think it's definitely worth the watch to see where the character Thomas was at the beginning, but the continuity of it all might throw you off a little bit. Zach is not a big role at all in the audio drama, where he is a huge role in the short film. The dynamic between Jen and Thomas is probably about the same, but everything else, the ending is different. But everything else leads up to it nicely. I just think that ending part is different. But there are some things in the story as well that we don't really cover. There's something in the second episode that we learn that has to do with how Thomas came into possession of a certain item that we talk about in the audio drama, but does not get talked about in the short film because that wasn't a thing. So yes, to answer that question, yes. What other Power Ranger content are you going to make in the future? Like more audio dramas, other fan films, anything like that? There's a lot of Power Ranger stuff probably coming out. Definitely more songs, for sure. I do plan on like compiling all those songs that I've written recently into an album, but I want to get more out, so that'll be a big thing. Again, outside of the legacy story, I'm not sure where we're going to go after that. It could extend to a season 2. It could extend somewhere else, but I don't want to focus on that yet, because when you focus on that, you stop focusing on what you're doing now, and then it gets all kerfumbled and whatnot. Fan film would be great. We just don't have the equipment we used to have when we did it. We are going to do more audio dramas. There are more stories that are being developed, not in the Power Ranger world, of course, but there's some other stories. There's one we started last year called Night of Elysium. There's another one that is like a fairy tale story that my wife and I are working on. The one who's asking these questions, but they're good questions. So we've got that. But as far as which one's next, we don't know. We're still working. We had started Elysium last year. There you can listen to the trailer on the channel. The issue with Elysium, the way we recorded it was not conducive to the editing process, and it became a headache. So we have to go back and redo all of that work, which is okay. I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. but that's it. What I would like to do, it would be nice if one day I could do legacy live action. But yeah. And that's just for my channel and my content. There's other Ranger stuff that will be happening. I can't talk about a whole lot. Possibly. Would I ever release a blooper reel of the audio drama? Possibly. The issue with that is, stop falling. the issue with that is getting in there and like saving those takes and putting them somewhere else. I know some of the cast really wants me to. I don't want to get flagged or anything, but I do want to hold on. I will play this, okay? Give me 1 second here. We'll stop the music real quick. I will play this real quick. Our actor who played Jason was having a very difficult time getting some of his lines, and he ended up saying this. Hold on. Might be too loud.
Power shit.
So he was doing the morph call, and this is what came out.
Go power shit.
So we might have more stuff like that down the line, but probably not a whole lot. Nothing crazy. If we do, we got to keep it, I would like to keep it PG-13 as much as possible, but not go crazy. But it's going to happen. I mean, it happened with that 5-minute prologue, and we have a bunch of actors coming in for the series, this coming week to record episode 1, which I got to get this office, really, really soundproofed, at least for the most part, to kind of bring down some of the echoes that we heard in the first one. But yeah, that is that. Nothing's there. Okay. But yeah, there is all of that. Again, there's not a whole lot At the moment, I don't plan on releasing a huge blooper reel. We had one for the short film, and I can't find it anymore. That kind of bothers me. I don't know where it's at. But yeah, there's that. Any more questions? If not, I'll just go on a rant. What was your favorite part of the audio drama? And would you be open to more or new talent? Even if I'm not experienced. Well, okay, you are. You're actually in it. But I'll pretend that is a question from somebody else. My favorite part of this particular audio drama, it's the fact that I'm able to finally play a Power Ranger. I think that's the thing I'm most interested in, is I get to actually become the thing that I've wanted to be my whole life, even if it's in audio format. And it's the fact that this thing that I'm creating, and I've done musicals and I've done shows, short films and whatnot, and it's cool to see those come to life. I think my favorite one so far was our last one, Don't Lose Sight. But this is a role that I wrote for myself, but is in a world that I've wanted to be a part of my whole life. I played Nightwing in Nightwing, the radio play, but the thing is, there's a difference between Nightwing and Thomas. Nightwing is, he's already a pre-made character in this world, and I just kind of took him and took all of his stories and kind of combined something new. Whereas with Thomas, he's an original character based off of and inspired by my favorite Ranger of all time. And so it's cool to not play Jason, but to play his son and do exactly what the title says and live out that legacy that Austin St. John set up. That I think is my favorite part. It's also cool because I get to spend time with a lot of people and teach people, because we have actors coming in that don't necessarily know the lore, and they're learning this as they go. And so I think for me, that's another really cool part. I would be open to more talent. We have a lot of new talent that I've never worked with on this project. I'm very excited. We have a lot of older talent. We have a lot of new talent. So yeah, I'm 100% open to it. And if you're not experienced, that's okay. You come in and you do it, you do your work, and that wouldn't be a problem with me at all. We all got to start somewhere. And Rebels Guild isn't like super professional. We do take things seriously, but we're still in our infancy as well. So I'm not against that at all. How do you think a DC Power Ranger crossover would look like? So that has happened in the comics. I've not read it. I've just seen pictures. In my mind, I think it would be interesting. I don't quite know the specifics. I would rather see a Power Ranger Bat Family crossover personally, rather than like a straight DC Power Ranger crossover, because we've had that. But if we can get the Bat Family involved, and then we've got the Power Rangers in some capacity, it wouldn't even have to be Mighty Morphin. It could legit be a legacy team that teams up with the Bat Family. I think that'd be interesting too. What would it look like? My ideal would be definitely Jason. Probably from that point, why do you keep falling, man? From that point, probably I would just put my favorite Rangers in there. So Jason, TJ, let's see. I think Billy would be pretty cool to be in there. I don't know. The more I think about it, I think that's... Are you falling still? Really? You just gonna keep falling? Okay, hold on. Is that better? That seems better. Okay. But yeah, that's what I would do. I would have to really sit there and think about who would I want to come in, because I'm pretty sure it would start out with a fight between the two teams, and then they'd have to end up working together. Maybe Zed and the Joker team up. Maybe Rita and the Joker team up. Maybe somebody teams up. Maybe Void Knight comes in and teams up with Freeze, because they have a similar viewpoint on life. I don't know. I would just have to figure out what that is that makes that possible. I mean, like, why would that be a thing? Why would they need to team up? There's already the theory that we've come up with that because of the Ninja Turtles being in Marvel and in Power Rangers, and in DC, and one other universe too. There's that theory that all the worlds are connected. So, you know, do you have a list of episodes to watch Power Rangers for those who aren't in the lore as much as others? My personal list. It depends on how in depth you want to get. We have 30 years of lore here, and we have a lot of filler episodes. What I recommend, if you're really wanting to get into the series, but you don't want to start with Mighty Morphin, I recommend 3 seasons you could start with. RPM, Time Force, and SPD. I say those are the 4 you can start with. If you want to have a updated Mighty Morphin feel that does have good amount of lore in it, and you're okay with the high school-esque theme, then Dino Thunder is a good one to go with. I do not recommend any Neo Saban seasons. Maybe Dino Charge, but that's about it. But if we're talking about just getting lore bits, I would always recommend watching Forever Red. I always recommend. I would recommend possibly Dimensions in Danger, but that's a tough one. That's a Tommy heavy special. But if you're, that's such a loaded question. If you're wanting to watch it from the beginning, well, my good bud Anthony over here is trying to comment. He's not able to. That sucks. But what I would recommend, personally, what I would recommend is fave ship for current seasons. Okay, we'll get to that in a second. If you're wanting to go from the beginning and get as much in as possible, what I would recommend is watching Dave the Dumpster, the very first episode, then going to the Green with Evil arc, the Green Candle arc, and then maybe Return of an Old Friend, and then that's all you have to watch from the first season of Mighty Morphin. There are key bits from each season that you need to watch in those first 3-4 seasons, but after you get past Power Rangers Turbo, everything connects, everything moves fairly fast for the most part. So there's not any one method I could say to watch the show in, but yeah. Let me get to that next question. That was fave ship for current seasons. That could. So for me, I know for a fact the ship that I wanted for Dino Fury was not the ship that we ended up with. The ship I wanted was Zato and Amelia, which I think could work now. I definitely think it could work. The age thing is weird. It's very, very much Zato is like old caveman at this point, but I wanted Zato and Amelia just because of Russell Curry and Hunter Dino's like chemistry on set was just, I felt it a lot. She ended up with Ollie, and they set that up from the beginning, which is fine. I'm not a huge Ollie has to grow on you, and Ollie, yeah. So we'll see how he's a Cosmic Fury. If current seasons, like I guess, I mean, one of my favorite ships from the comics is Trini and Jason, and that's something that Austin St. John also is a big fan of. I can't go current seasons, but ships that I like that never happened that should have happened. Adam and Tanya is a good one. Cosmic Fury and Morphing Masters. So what's the question on that though? I don't quite understand. You want my thoughts on it? I don't quite understand what the question is. Would you mind elaborating? Oh, he entered the chat. Oh, Anthony entered the chat. It's a very controversial topic. So Cosmic Fury, I'm excited for. I've been excited for it since the end of Dino Fury. I think it should end the series fairly nicely from what I understand they have going on. Okay, so this is kind of the question altogether. So okay, I'll take it one step at a time. So I've got Clouds of Cosmic Fury. I'm excited. I think it's going to be a good ending. Morphin Masters. I personally don't hate them, but I do think they are a problem. I think they are a nice little bow to wrap up some of these questions that we all have to find answers for, that we just kind of assume there are answers for. I think they're important. I mean, it does make sense that there would be guardians of the morphing grid, because the thing is, the Power Rangers aren't necessarily, and they aren't, in my opinion, they're not necessarily the protectors of the grid. They are, it has been said that, but if you watch these seasons, they're not so much protectors of the grid, they're more protectors of the Earth. So there's got to be someone to protect the grid, right, and bring balance. And so I think that's, and the fact that they observe, I think that's what that is. The fact is, you've got the Green Morphin Master who is like, no, we have to help them out. Kind of going against that idea of what they stand for. And I know that's an old trope that people hate. A certain person who's watching this live stream right now hates that. But I don't think they hurt the franchise. In fact, I think they... they're keepers of, if you're talking about the Rangers being the keepers of the balance, that kind of goes against what we were talking about last night, which was the fact that there has to be good and evil to balance the grid. Rangers, I'm not talking about evil Rangers, I'm talking about the majority of Power Rangers. I don't think they're keepers of the balance. I think they're protectors of the grid, but I don't think they quite understand the balance of the grid. If that was the truth, then they wouldn't be... I don't know. I differ on that one. I think they've been given the powers to protect Earth and to protect the grid, but not necessarily be the balance. There has to be somebody else who's the balance. Because in that regard, I think they are like the Jedi towards the Force, and the Jedi don't protect the balance. Because the Jedi there at the end were all about, we can't have darkness. Well, the thing is, like we've been talking about, the balance is good and light. You have to have a mix of each. You're right, they don't realize it, but I don't know. I think that's more of something that we infer to it. But I guess my point with that is, looking at TV continuity, and I would have to like go back and watch Mighty Morphin episode for episode to see what Zordon says. I just don't feel like there's enough information to guarantee us that they legit are the balance. There's a protector and there's a person who balances, and I just feel like they're two different things. So I think the Morphing Masters are Hasbro's way of doing that, and the comics way of doing that, because they're in the comics now too. So I'm gonna move on to the next question. Thoughts on the new suits? Good, bad, or ugly? I don't think anything. Dude, honestly, that's the problem though. Like, no, I'll get to that here in a second. The suits though, I don't look. Oh my god, they don't look terrible, but they don't look Power Ranger-esque fully. They look like Shazam suits. So. Well, thanks, Ellie. So the keepers. So all in all, the question on the suits, I like the suits. They just they're more plain Jane than I think we've had in a long time. Okay. Am I missing a question? Okay. Do you think Good Zed will appear? I don't. I don't. I mean, like in Cosmic Fury or in the 30th, because the thing is, they've alluded to him already with Thrax. They also alluded to him with I think the conversation when they summoned him in Dino Fury. So I don't really think they're gonna bring up Good Zed. If they do, sorry, my headphone like has a short in it at times and it kicked on. If they do, it's very very slight. I don't think so. I really don't. I think actual Zed is his arc is done. This energy, this evil energy Zed is legitimately. Yeah, I think once they kill it, it's over. At this point, you know, evil Zed, no, he's like in human form now, right? No, Good Zed is in human form, right? So that, in my mind, that means we're probably, you know, done. He's probably old. He's retired. Probably has grandchildren now. I mean, we know Rita became Mystic Mother, so like my thing is, did her and Zed get a divorce? You know, is he a stay-at-home husband now while she goes and like, you know, is Mystic Mother? She aged up quite a bit too when she became Mystic Mother. But this became more of a Power Ranger like discussion than it did like an actual like Q&A live stream. But how was this? If he was still like, see here's what I think would have been cool. As much as I love Void Knight the way he is right now, I think it would have been cool if he is. I see. That's the thing. I don't think he was. I don't think he is in the show canon, because they never mentioned that. They never mentioned that in the show canon. I know he is in the comic canon, so I think that's hard for me to say. And the fact that they turned him human, because Altarians don't look human. So that's where I'm like, it's odd. It's odd for me if they were going that route. But if he were to, going back to it, if he were to have been Void Knight, and there was a reason why he was doing what he was doing, you know, in Dino Fury, and it wasn't who it ends up being, I think it would have been cool there. And I think to bring him on as like this Ranger, I think that would be, I think that would have been cool. But I think just to kind of bring him in out of left field would be very odd. Good Zed appear in Legacy? No. We do. I will say we do get to see past villains that pop in and out of the show. They do it in a weird way, and they do it because things in the morphing grid are acting funky. Things are being done that are causing things to happen and people to show up when they are not supposed to. But yes, no, Zed is not going to appear. Zed is not going to appear at all. But yeah. Any more questions? I'll probably end this stream here soon. Past villains like Ivan Ooze. No Ivan Ooze. No. Because he never showed up in TV canon. So why would he show up now? I can give you an idea. I will say you will see maybe a couple Mighty Morphin villains show up. Maybe, just maybe, a Lightspeed Rescue villain might show up. Here's the thing, man. I like Ivan Ooze. He just doesn't work in this story. He just doesn't work. I think if Jason would have been in the movie and had some connection to him, I'd be fine with it. But the fact that there is no connection, I just don't see the point of bringing Ivan Ooze into this. Ooh, that's a great question. Hold on. At this current time, let me double check. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Plus 18, 19. There are at least 19 actors currently in this production. And there's more to come after that. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people in this production. And as we get into the later episodes of recording, these first couple ones won't be too hard. But when we get into later episodes, it's going to be difficult because I'm working on a scene right now, and there's at least 5 actors talking at one time. So that's going to be tricky for us to get that done here. But, you know, we'll get it done. We'll get it done. Like I said earlier, I'm going to have to, fix the booth. I'm going to have to put up some thick blankets in this area. So when people come in, they're not getting, their sound is getting eaten up, and we don't have a whole lot of echo. That was one issue we had with Jason's Legacy, was there was echo in the room. So we got to find a way to kill that. We had that set up in the other office. So this week, that's my plan, is to get all that set up. Oh, you're good. You're good. No problem at all. We are going to end here soon, though, so it does suck that you kind of came in a little bit late. But if you have any questions before I go, let me know, and I'll answer some. We just had a lot of questions from Anthony, so I feel bombarded. I have a weird feeling that Anthony's actually in my house right now. I think he is. I think he's out in the front room. So, that's the thing. Questions. I think you guys are a little bit behind where I'm at too. Or maybe not. Some thick blanket. Okay, no. Somehow the stream on my... Somehow it looked like my stream got behind, like me watching it, so that's weird. But let me actually see if I can do something real quick, just for future streams. That way I don't have to have this open. Maybe. No? Hey, there it is. Although I think it's behind. How bites? Okay, it's slowly catching up. Is Serpentera fully destroyed? Yes. Serpentera is gone. There is no remnants. There is no Death Star 2 somewhere on another moon by Endor, or far away from Endor, where the throne room is, you have to get a dagger to get to the throne room. That's me calling out Rise of Skywalker. No, it's gone. It's gone. Whatever Jason did in that thing, it's gone. Now, my question to you, I know some of you know. No, I don't think you guys actually quite know. Do you think that I'm trying to think of the right word. Do you think that Jason teleported out of there, or do you think that was just the golden staff going away? That's a good question. Do you think that Jason teleported out of Serpentera there at the end, or do you think the staff just went back to Trey? Last question before the end. Will Legacy visit the Dagobah system? No. Unfortunately not. I cannot. I don't think I can actually do that, because then I would be using 2 IPs, and I can't be using 2 IPs. Let alone have a hard time using 1 IP without getting in trouble. So, no, we will not be visiting the Dagobah system anytime. The staff, that is it's a very good question. I'm going to leave that one open answer, though, because you will find that out in the series. But it's a very good guess. 50-50. I guess there could be a third option, that it was nothing. Maybe it was just some energy kind of like going from Serpentera at that point. But yeah. So it is 7. Dagobah does appear in space. I know. I get that. But what I'm saying is I'm not dealing with that. That's adding too much. Too much. We do have planets, though. We have plenty of planets coming. I'm excited for that. So, anyways, I am going to head out. Okay. All right. Goodbye. It was the Gold Morphin Master. Oh my god. No. Goodbye. Nope. Well, really? You're gonna do this to me? Alright, hold on. Now I'm gonna go.